when I'm not catfishing my own catfish by responding to these bots with links to my original music. I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. The Acoustasonic, still after 2 years, that answers a question that nobody asked. So Fender sent me this Acoustasonic Stratocaster. I did a video with Andrea on it last week where we covered a Side Day song that I think turned out really well. Check that out if you haven't already. But one of the main comments that I've always heard about Acoustasonics is who is this guitar actually made for? So now that I've had it for a little bit over a week, I'm getting a little more familiar with it, and I feel like I can answer that question. So I want to actually quickly run through just the different settings through like a direct in situation, and then through the Fender Deluxe amp for the acoustic and electric things. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on it. All right, so I've got this plugged into my Universal Audio 6176 compressor, and it's going direct in, okay? Now real quick, so we have a 5-way switch. It's just like a regular Strat control-wise, except the controls mean something different. So it's 5-way with 2 knobs. Volume, and this is gonna be like a mod knob just to go back and forth between A and B. Now it's funny because like I must just think of things totally backwards. Because in the bridge, I've always thought of that as position 5, and the neck, I always think that should be position 1. Obviously that's not how anybody else thinks. This is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The knob thing is the same thing, makes you think I'm crazy. With the, if you think of it as a tone knob rolled all the way off, that's A. So all the way clockwise, or as a tone knob all the way on, that would be B. I would think tone up would be A. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so we're just gonna go through all of them real quick. This is gonna be neck position, position 5. These are the core acoustic ones. The A position sounds like this. And then you can roll into position B. Blend between them, right? I think I like position B best of the core acoustics. Also, we're gonna use this in the context of a track at the end here. But yeah, that's basically those two. This is gonna end up being my favorite. Okay, this is position 4, the B section. This is all the way up, right? So I think this is actually my favorite, and this is the one I'm going to use in the example. Actually, let's just do that right now. This is going to be a new track I'm working on for Ryders with Pasha and Andrea, slaying it as always. I'm really going to put a lot of reverb on this because I think that's one of the main benefits. You can add some cool reverb to it as a direct in, and it doesn't get like too all over the place. Here it is.
Take my vow to never drink again until the world's end. And on this day of days, the smoke billows away, so clear I see the flame. To me, I see the same. Of sleep.
This brings us to the middle position, position 3, all the way off. This is going to be a grand auditorium, brighter sound. Roll it in, it adds the body sensor. Which I think definitely makes it sound better. Even if you're not going to do like percussive type playing. I think it just sounds better with the body sensor activated. The harmonics are more. And you can kind of hear this because I've got the speakers on. You get a little more harmonic nature, which could lead to feedback if you're not careful. But I just think it kind of generally sounds fuller with the body sensor on. It just sounds good, I think, right? Now position 2, this is where we have the electric guitar one coming in, and this one just really kind of blows my mind because it's like the first time I did this, I thought it sounded bad, but it really sounds more like an electric than my brain can process playing an acoustic. So I'm going to play this through the deluxe too, but basically just real quick, this is just the electric. And then blending it. That's just like another acoustic voicing, right? Or electric. You can blend them. And for kicks, this is going to be some just straight up electric with a little bit of distortion on it, actually. So all the way to position A. And then position B. So yeah, we're going to get this over to the electric guitar amp next. But I do want to say, one of my other fears is 9-volt batteries dying on me live. It's never actually happened, but it's just a fear that I have. This doesn't take a battery. You actually charge it with a USB cable. And supposedly a charge lasts for like 20 hours, so that's cool too. Alright, so who is this guitar actually made for? I think this is definitely a performing guitar. My main thing playing a lot of acoustic-based shows over the years is that I generally hate the sound of acoustic electric pickup systems, and it's always too much of a hassle to actually mic up an acoustic guitar live because of just feedback issues and just kind of like stage issues, etc. So I'm super impressed with the actual sounds on this. I don't think I would personally use the electric guitar sounds for the most part. If I were to do some kind of like live looping show, which maybe might happen in the future, I think that would definitely be more of a consideration. My thing is, some people are like, oh, it's like the best of both worlds because it plays like an electric and sounds like an acoustic. I don't totally agree with that. I mean, the neck definitely feels like an electric, but I think this guitar is always going to sound its best with acoustic guitar strings on it. I know some people on YouTube have done kind of shootouts, acoustic versus electric guitar strings, so it'll work either way. But the thing that's interesting to me is like, it sounds like an electric while I'm playing acoustic strings, which is just kind of weird. And that's why I want to actually shout out Fender, because I know some people kind of talk about like the way that it looks They don't like the look of it and stuff. But I just kind of want to give them some shine for trying to be innovative in a space that is notoriously lacking innovation, right? There's really not a lot of advances that have been made with guitars because we just kind of keep running back the same few models and like technologies over time. But I think this is something new and it's something cool. And the fact that I think some of it is kind of weird, I think is a good thing, right? When I have it in the electric position and my ears hear an electric guitar versus how my hands feel like I'm playing an acoustic, I think that's actually like a good thing. And I think it means we're kind of being pushed forward into like a new era of stuff like that. So yeah, I also too, I remember when the Telecaster first came out, they announced it at NAMM, and me and Samurai actually got our hands on the Telecaster. I remember at the time thinking like, okay, this feels like maybe like an $800 guitar, right? And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's like a $2,000 guitar. They really balk at that price. But now that I've actually had this in my hands for a while, I understand why it's priced the way it is. Number one, it's made in America, so that's gonna really, make it more expensive than anything else. The smaller things that maybe went unnoticed first is the back. The carving on the wood block on the back is definitely more of like what a high-end guitar would be, and also kind of like the armrest is something that like super high-end, expensive acoustic guitars have, and those are things that I appreciate. So, honestly, I think it's worth the money if it's something that you're looking for to be like, a performance guitar. The weight of it is so much nicer. And if I play most of my shows standing up, so that's like a consideration that I definitely take into effect. So yeah, I definitely like it. I understand that it's not for everyone, but maybe it is for you. And I definitely am glad that it's around and that it's an option. I think you're dumb and I don't like it. I like that it didn't just stop at I think you're dumb. I think you're dumb and I don't like it. Which means that maybe there was like a chance that I would read the first part like, oh, I think you're dumb. Be like, oh, well, this guy thinks I'm dumb. Maybe he's into that kind of thing. Maybe that's actually a good thing. But then he's like, no, and I don't like it. So not only are you dumb, but I don't like that you're dumb. So it's kind of like a double shot. Coconut milk is amazing. I'll have to try the macadamia nut milk per your recommendation. So in the video the other day, I talked a little bit about some of my favorite milk alternatives. So I thought we might as well have a definitive ranking once and for all for where I stand on all these milks, because some people asked, Sean, what about oat milk? What about soy milk? Et cetera, et cetera. So I've been vegan for like 4 years now, and milk has been such a huge part of my diet. I've been through all the milks. I know all the milk alternatives, so I'm the person to ask here. First of all, I want to talk about soy milk. That's going to be at the bottom of my list. Not a soy boy. I just can't do it. I've never really liked it. It just tastes weird to me in a way that the nut milks don't. So for all you soy people, I'm sorry. We're disqualifying you from the list. But number one milk is going to be macadamia nut milk. I think the exotic nature of it is actually probably tainting this, so I'm going to have 1 and 1A. 1A is going to be cashew nut milk. I think I'm just mad for cashews. What can I say? I'm not going to apologize. Sorry, not sorry. All right? Cashew milk is a superior milk. A lot of these are contextual, so I'm trying to take that into account, right? Which is why after cashew milk, I'm going to put coconut milk after that. The thing about coconut milk is it's the make or break of the milks. In certain things, coconut milk is going to be the wrong choice. Certain types of coffee drinks, the coconut will just dominate it. Along with cereal, it's like if you put coconut milk in cereal, you better be ready for a more coconut experience than you are for the cereal experience. That's why I like the cashew stuff, because the cashew stuff is like, it just chills. It's like the chillest of all the milk alternatives. After coconut milk, I'm going to go with oat milk. I think oat milk is cool. I guess it's a little more calorie dense than I would like my milks to be, but for a lot of people, that's a good thing. But the creamy nature of how you can actually use it in espresso-based drinks is a big thumbs up for oat milk. After that, we're going to go with almond. I feel like I'm kind of doing almond a little dirty by this disservice of ranking it so low, but because that was like my main go-to milk, it just became so prevalent, and I really burned myself out on almond milk. So I'm really sorry about that. But the chocolate nut-based milks exist in a class of their own, heavenly category, right? But chocolate cashew milk is obviously just like ridiculous. It's too much to even talk about right now. So that's going to be my power rankings. Macadamia nut milk, cashew, coconut, make or break. Not always appropriate, but when it hits, it just hits different. Oat milk, and then almond rounding it out, and then soy way down here. You rarely miss a chance to throw in that major 7, Sean. What a great sounding chord it is. Great work on the Udemy courses. Enough content there to keep an old guy learning guitar busy for months on end. Purchase the course, people, or try the Patreon option. You will learn plenty. Knowing some basic theory makes a huge difference too. Regards, Phil from Oz. Thank you so much for the great plug. And yeah, definitely, if you want to check out the Udemy course, it's still going to be on sale for the rest of the month. And Patreon too. I keep making more song lessons on Patreon. I got to get some more up later today. So definitely check that out. And I appreciate you giving it a plug. For listening homework, we're going to go with one of my favorite modern guitar players, Melanie Faye. She's absolutely awesome. She rocks it. Anytime I hear her play on anything, it's just nasty. I think she just has such a cool vibe. She definitely gets down on major 7 chords just like me. So go show her some love. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.